Now I'm going to do a really great wolf face. And what's really great is it's not even going to cover their eyes, it's just going to cover most of their face. And I'm going to start by doing a triangle above each of their eyebrows. And I do that by putting the straight edge first on one side and then the other to make a triangle. Now I'm going to do the other side also. Trying to get both of them even. I do need you to look at me so I can see head on. There we go. There's our two triangle ears. Now we're going to do the rest of the face again with our sponge and with white. First thing, I'm going to have the edge of the sponge up and I'm going to just connect those two ears with a little sweeping motion there. Then I'm going to face the flat side of the sponge right here this way. Now if you're left-handed, you might want to do the other side first, but I'm going to make a nice straight line just going just right to the edge of his nose, and my goal is to get right to the corner of his mouth. Then I turn the sponge around and do the same thing on the other side. And then I fill in the center once I get that nice clean line on the side. And a good way to blend and make the surface of the paint look good is just to dab it, tap it with your sponge. That way you get a nice even white color. Now this is a gray wolf, and the way we're going to make gray is not with gray at all, it's actually with black. I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to lightly touch it on an already wet black paint. And then I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to wipe a lot of that off to where I just have a little bit of a dry sponge. Then I'm going to, again, the same way that I did the ears, I'm just going to go inside a little bit and make the same kind of shape on the inside, graying right there in a triangle, and coming right here, and you just kind of tap and pull that color into it, because we don't want a whole lot, but we want enough to where it looks nice and grayed out. And it's not a wolf if he doesn't have any sharp teeth. So let's give him some teeth. I'm going to take my number 5 round brush loaded with white, and I'm just going to touch it on the corner of his lip right here and just drag it down. And as I drag it down, I just kind of lift up and it makes a nice point. If you want to curl it a little bit inwards, that's fine too. But it's just one simple motion to make a tooth. Now we're going to start with some outlining. I'm going to take my number 4 brush, round brush. I'm going to get some black onto it. And I'm going to make some hairy marks right here by just touching very lightly. If you push down too much, you're going to get really thick strokes and you don't really see ever thick pieces of hair. So try and make it real light. And then we're going to come down this way to make the other edge. And then just a nice little upside down V right in the middle there. Then I'm going to come this way, and your hair should never be perfectly straight. We want it to look really kind of wispy, kind of rough like the wild wolf that he is. Come on that side, again, upside down V. And we're going to complete his wild look by giving him some nostrils right here on the side. I'm just, again, it's my number 4 brush loaded with black, and I come just from the side here. Now if you are left-handed, you would probably want to start with the other side to always make sure that you're going to mirror the image. You want it to be symmetrical. So if you're stronger on the other side, then start with that side. You always want to start with your weakest side first. So I'm filling all this in, giving him a very wide nose to give him that wild kind of look. And then with my same brush, I'm loading it in such a way, I'm pushing against the edge of the paint canister so I can get a nice flat edge. You see that? Now, I used to change brushes all the time, and that would take up a lot of time, unnecessary. So I try to make my brush work for me, the same brush as much as possible, so I have less switching up. So now that I have my brush nice and straight, I'm just going to lightly come and touch, and I can press down a little bit more as I get to the bottom, or kind of fill it in like that, so it's coming right straight down from the nose to the top of the lip, and coming a little bit wider to give that kind of cleft little place right there. Then I'm going to come right from the corners of the mouth and just make a little motion up, lifting up as I get up, so it makes a little bit thinner line as I go up, and again the same thing right here. And then we need to outline the teeth also, and I do that just by coming to the corner of the mouth and pulling down and pulling down. Same thing on the other side. You come up, pull down, and pull down. but it's not complete yet. We need a few whisker dots. So I just get enough paint on my brush and just touch, touch, and touch. 3 of them is really good. Touch, touch, and touch. And there you have your vicious wolf. To be a great face painter, you need to have good supplies. I have here in this handy box that I got from a dollar store a mirror, which is very important to have so that a child can see their face. But I like this one because it stands by itself and you can set it at the other edge of the table from where you're painting, so that when you're done painting one child, you can say, now get up and go look at your face. They get up, walk to the other side of the table, look at their face in the mirror while you now have an open chair ready for the next child. So that helps with speed. And it's also unbreakable, so you don't have to worry about kids getting their hands on it. I also have in here a photo flip. This is actually from our zoo collection. And on the photo flip, of course, it has step-by-step instruction, which you can follow to the letter, or you can use it as a basis and add some other details or add some other things if you have time or if you find something that works better for you. It also has a condensed version of the lessons that I have for the gospel lessons. That way it serves to be a reminder for you of what you want to say to that child while you're painting their face. Then we also have a spray bottle. Spray bottles are very important because you want to spray your paints before you try to load paint onto either your sponge or your brush. You get your brush wet or your sponge wet separately, but you always want to start by spraying your colors, and I try to spray my colors as before the child even sits down. When I first ask them as they're walking towards the chair what they want to have painted, squirt the colors that you're going to need, and then you'll be all ready to paint once they sit down. Now, I also have in here some of my brushes, which I'll discuss a little bit later, and I have, to hold my brushes, a little container. Please make sure you always have your brushes stem side down. Then I also have my paints. Now here I have several brands. I'm just going to mention them very quickly. You have the Snazaroo brand, and that is a decent brand. It's been around for a long time, and it's made in the UK. And then you have the Krylon brand of paint, and they have, their cover works just a little bit like that. You push down the middle, and they also have good water paints. Paradise is another one that's made in the United States, and that one I especially like for their black, but Wolf also has a good black. But just keep in mind that Wolf paints are very pigmented and they don't necessarily wash off quite as easily as some of the other brands do. And the Wolf, the nice thing about them is they have a screw on the bottom and the top, so if you want to just stack them all by screwing them all together, you can. This one happens to be a custom one that has the different colors put together that I got on sillyfarm.com. But for most things, you just need a single color. Mayron also produces a water-based makeup paint, and you can try those as well. Keep in mind that brands are subject to change. Some you might find certain colors are too dry. Some colors might get too goopy and yucky when they get hot. So trial and error is the best way to establish what works for you. But the most important thing to make sure you get are water-based makeup paints, FDA approved, nothing else. All right, and the other thing you're going to need are sponges. These sponges come as a whole sponge, a round sponge like that. You simply cut them in half with a very sharp scissors, and then they're ready to use. They are high density, and that's exactly what you're looking for. There's several different kinds. They come looking different ways, and over time they will get stained with your paints. Don't worry. As long as they're still nice and firm, they will work very well for you. And last but not least, in my little bucket here, I have some glitter in a poofer bottle, and the way that works is you just simply open it up, keep the lid off, and when a child asks for glitter or says they would like to have some glitter, you simply tip it upside down and squeeze it as you sprinkle it over with some glitter. I like to have just one color, iridescent, because it works for everything. They have a wide variety of colors that you can choose from, but this makes it fast. If they want glitter, I don't have to ask or wonder. I just always apply the same glitter. Now, the only other things you're going to need for painting basically are your water container and some paper towels. Your paper towels are very important because they are going to dry your sponges, they're going to dry your paint brushes, and they're going to be there for any mistakes or cleanup or anything. You can also have baby wipes, and they are a nice thing to have if you're actually going to need to